We might.
Hey,
Oh my gosh. Are we here? We're here. We're live. We are
yeah,
live.
we
Ladies and
are.
gentlemen, welcome to the A2Z program. Tonight, on the program, we're bringing you an exclusive interview with a very, very dear old friend of mine. He's a man who I have to say I admire. I admire greatly. He's a man who has lived off the land, used every inch of the land, both animal, mineral, fossil, leaf, grain of sand, stone, not left unturned. Ladies and gentlemen, direct from Peas Eddy?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, faithful viewers, Pop Culture Pros Network and the world, please welcome Mr. Tom White, ladies and gentlemen. Tom White is here.
Thank you.
Tom, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. And you?
Not bad, not bad. How's the weather down there, by the way?
Windy, snowy, cold. Yeah.
I was coming home tonight from work, and I drove right into a whiteout, a Tom Whiteout.
Yeah. Yeah. It ain't often you get me out.
No, not often, Tom. This is great. We appreciate you coming on the show here. We already got some people. Sam Titus checking in, saying what's up. What's up,
Yeah.
Samo? And here's niece Sarah, my niece. She's saying
Hey,
hey
Sarah.
y'all. And Tom, this is the boss. This is the major domo of Pop Culture Pros of the network I am on. This is Steve Faraci.
Steve. Boy, you're
Steve is
putting a lot of pressure on me now.
Yeah. Oh well, we got the brass watching, so we got to be on our best behavior, which means we're gonna do whatever the hell we want. So
Okay.
so yeah, weather's shitty. Tom, what have you been doing since this whole pandemic thing came out? A guy like you, I don't imagine that the type of guy you are. You're an active guy. You're an outdoors guy. Um, you're hands on. I imagine, did it affect you at all? Or did it hinder you a little bit in any way?
Um, Mentally, because
Men.
I don't do good with abnormalities,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm really not good with somebody telling me what I have to do.
Okay.
So, yeah. But other
That
than
that
that, life is normal, man.
le-
I go to work, I travel, I do whatever I want to do.
cool.
Um, well,
That's well because being the type of guy you are, a lot of the restrictions that were placed on society here, doing what you do, you don't really have that. I mean, anybody can walk out into the woods, anybody can go down to the river, anybody can go. You could travel abroad and go check stuff out.
yep.
Still, I mean, I understand there's certain restrictions in places that you might or might not go, but still, when you're just an outdoors guy, when you're out like you doing stuff, it probably didn't affect you as much, right? Like you said, mentally,
Yeah.
it probably did, but
Yep. Work was a little bit different this year. I work at a summer camp, so we
okay,
didn't have camp.
you didn't
Um,
have it. Okay,
no, but we've been lucky enough to be able to stay on working.
okay,
Me
good,
and a couple of guys in maintenance. Yeah. So,
good, good. So that's good. That's a plus. That's a definite plus.
yeah. I did.
Given.
I did notice. I did a lot of hiking this summer.
Hmm.
Um, And it didn't matter what trails you were on, how deep you were. I mean, we were 14 miles back in the woods, and here's people walking around with masks on.
You're kidding
Like the
me.
trees got. No, I swear to God. And some people, like, we're sitting on the side of the trail, so it's not like they heard us coming or what. They seen us because we obviously seen them before they seen us. And here they are
Yeah,
strolling up by themselves with a mask on in the middle of
with a
nowhere.
mask on.
Yep,
They're gonna catch the COVID from a bush.
yep, yeah. The trees got it now.
Wow. So hiking. Speaking of hiking, Tom, do you hike a lot
I do when I can. Yeah.
when you can?
Yep.
Where do you? Are there? See, we live in upstate New York. You're not far from me.
Yep.
Um, where are there places around here that you like specify to hike, like that you enjoy more so than others? Is there better places? Like, give us a couple hot spots at where Tom White likes to go.
Oh, now I'm gonna have a lot of people there. Um, Jensen's Ledges is probably my favorite.
Is it
It's
okay?
yeah, it's a short hike, about a mile and a half to the ledge itself. It's
Okay.
pretty steep. But I challenge myself on that hike most every time just to see how fast I can do it.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your
I
best
got
time?
15 minutes, 21 seconds is my best time. Or maybe it was 15:10. We did it this summer, and I think we hit 15:10.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Now,
Yeah.
I've always heard the legend of Jensen's Ledges. A lot of people like to go there. Now, give everybody a visual. Like, explain to them what it's like to go up there and look down across all of that. Because it's pretty spectacular. Believe it,
It is. Um, just the sunsets up there are the best. You're looking pretty much west northwest, so you're getting that summertime beautiful sunsets. But a lot of people leave when the sun disappears. Like once it goes behind the mountains, people
mm-hmm.
leave,
Oh,
stay, because I'm telling you what, you can turn around. It's going to be dark in the woods behind you, and look back towards the setting where the sun set, and you still got an hour of sunset left.
no kidding.
Oh yeah, it's
I
gorgeous.
didn't
And
know
then
that.
if you're really adventurous and don't mind rattlesnakes, stay there till 11, 12 o'clock at night and watch the stars for shooting stars and stuff. It's beautiful.
I bet you being out there, being so far out,
Yeah.
it's got to be really clear. There's no like
Yeah.
what do they call it, light pollution
Right. Yep.
to dim the view. Wow, that's got to be
Yep.
amazing. I haven't been there. I think I've been there once. I honestly don't remember, and I think I would have. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say I don't know if I've ever been out there. I really should do that, Tom.
Come down because it's 15 minutes from my house.
No kidding. You're not far from
Yeah.
it then.
No.
Okay.
And you're probably, I'm going to say 900 feet above the river.
Really?
Yeah. So like people look like little ants down there. And the funny thing is, like, they can go by in a boat and you can hear the conversation that they're having, almost like we can hear our conversation now.
You're kidding me.
Oh, it's crazy.
So
I don't know
that
why,
that
but
reverberation just kind of goes up the hill and
yep,
wow, that's really neat. That's really neat. Now you mentioned something about that's unique to our area, rattlesnakes. Now, being do you on any of your travels do you because we hear stories of everyone who's everybody's seen, everybody's touched, everybody's caught, everybody, but we know 9/10 of that is bullshit. Now, Tom,
yeah.
a guy like you, I want to know because I know you firsthand have had experience with this. Tell us what it's like encountering a rattlesnake and what you do or what you don't do when you do come up on one.
Um, the biggest mistake I've made is underestimate their size when they're coiled up. And
Really?
I like to get down and personal with them and get good pictures.
Ooh.
And yeah, I almost got bit one time. But and I have a video on my Facebook page too of one that I originally thought was about 40, 42 inches.
Holy shit.
And when it was coiled up under a like a 4x4 that
Mm-hmm.
was laying horizontal, and it's basically like just a curb on a wooden bridge so that you can't go over it with a bicycle or whatever. And
Okay.
there's probably, I'm going to say 2.5, maybe 3 inches gap between the deck of the bridge and the bottom of the 4x4.
Oh wow.
Well, he was coiled up in that with maybe a foot of him kind of like wormed out, like
Mm-hmm.
stretched out.
Oh okay.
And he was buzzing a little bit, but I got some really good video of him. Well, as you watch the video, he starts to come out of his coil and slither down the bridge. And that snake was 6 foot every inch.
You're kidding me.
Nope. And it
Six
was,
foot rattlesnakes up here?
this was in Pennsylvania. Yep.
Wow. Oh,
Pike
Pennsylvania.
County.
Just over the border or down a
It was,
ways?
Pike County on some state land down there.
Okay. How far is that? How far is that in relation to where you are?
About 45 miles, roughly. If you're
Okay.
familiar with like Lackawaxen, Roebling Bridge area,
Mm-hmm.
it's near there.
Okay.
Woodlock Pines, Woodlock Resort. It's
Okay.
5 minutes from there.
Okay. So the range of these snakes goes not just up to it encompasses like say the area where we live It goes
Mhm.
right down that Delaware Valley kind of thing. Is that
Yeah.
am I assuming that right? Delaware Valley, like
Yeah.
okay,
Um, they like certain slopes, you know what I mean? They like the warm side of the mountain. But a lot of people too think that they're going to be out in the like in direct sunlight, and they won't because they get too hot. So when it
really?
gets real hot in the daytime, they actually look for shade.
So,
So like under rock faces, bushes, stuff like that, that's where you'll find them.
so you don't want to be like if you're hiking up a hill and you see these the rock these bigger rocks that are you don't want to start like overturning them and stuff because like they might like eat your dog or something.
Well, yeah, they won't eat your dog, but if they bite your dog or you,
They won't eat your dog.
no.
Oh, that'd be kind of
But
cool if they did.
it would be, right? I think that would be
That
pretty neat. I can
would
get
be neat.
people's stray dogs and cats. um, that's a good way to get
Tom,
rid of cats.
Tom, we got some really some good interaction here going. So
Yeah.
the boss was unaware, I guess, or was aware, I should say. COVID grows on trees. So you and the boss just debunked and deduced a great myth. So now that we know, because they wear masks in the forest,
Yeah.
so they grow on trees. And your buddy Mike, good friend, another good. You and Mike are pretty tight.
Yeah.
So your buddy Mike said the snakes in Lordville are massive. I'm assuming he's seen a few too. I would imagine.
Yes. Yep.
I would imagine. And hey, Tom, look who's piping in also. Amanda. Amanda says Tom is so crazy he'll go looking for the damn snakes. I believe that, Amanda. And hello, Amanda. How are you? Thanks for joining us.
um, yeah, I actually went back numerous times and took photos of that. There was two snakes with the 6 foot snake, which was a yellow and black, and then there was a black one that was probably 4 foot. And I
Wow.
went back numerous times. They were there every time I went back. In fact, the black one, actually, I was trying to get a good picture of him, and he
Hmm.
started down under the bridge, and I grabbed him by the tail and dragged him back out so I could get more pictures.
You got to be shitting me. You grabbed that snake by the tail?
Yeah,
By the rattle? Did it have the rattle
yeah,
things?
yeah.
Listen to me. Listen to me. The rattle things. Next thing I'm going to be calling horns antlers next.
Yeah.
um. Yeah. So Mike named this Crotus horribilis. Horribilis. What the hell does that mean? Once again, okay. If anybody doesn't know, Mike is my brother, and Mike is one of Tom's closest friends, and
Yes, he is.
I'm assuming there's something going on. My brother, and you know how he is. Tom. He gets these random things that pop in his brain, and he feels the need to share them with the rest of the world,
Yeah.
and they end up being hilarious. But
Oh, yeah.
that's the mind of Mike Zant.
Maybe that's the Latin name for rattlesnake. We're gonna go with that because Mike
we'll
is
go with
very
that.
intelligent. Yeah.
Mike is very intelligent for being an ugly bastard. He's pretty smart.
Right.
He didn't get the good looks that I got, Tom. So,
No. No.
that's now Sam's got a good question, Tom. Have you ever eaten a rattlesnake?
Yes.
You have.
Yes.
Was it one that you got yourself? I mean, obviously you can't hunt them,
Right.
but
Yeah, this was one I got in, say, Texas, where you can
okay,
legally hunt them. Yeah.
where you can legally. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. So yeah, we were in Texas when I happened to run across one and was able to kill it. And that one I brined and smoked on the grill, and it was delicious.
Now I can correlate a comment here, Tom. Since you said you were in Texas hunting rattlesnakes, the boss says the only 6 foot rattlesnake he wants to see is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Well, boss, he was in Texas hunting rattlesnakes. So Tom is the guy that rattlesnakes fear. So I would say like Tom White 1, Stone Cold 0.
Yeah.
So there we go with that. Who else we got here? Brain Strauss is making a comparison to Grizzly Adams, no, but is assuming that there's no relation. Tom Pace theme song. I didn't know that was the name of the song, but that was a show, right? Grizzly Adams, a little before
Yeah.
my time. A little
Yeah.
before my time.
Yeah, I was just a kid when that was on.
The genus. Oh, Mike's pulling out the internal dictionary. The timber rattlesnake genus name is. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Oh, odd. Well,
It's
If
something
anybody
like
knows
that.
that's what it is. It's right there.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Cool. So you have eaten it. Now, of course, the common thing to say is everything tastes like chicken, which obviously everything does not.
Does
Now,
not taste like chicken.
does rattlesnake have its own, like, is it really distinct? Like, if I was out, say I was walking down the street and I found a garter snake and I took it home and I threw it in a frying pan and threw a few peppers and onions in it and ate it, would it taste like a rattlesnake, or does a rattlesnake have a distinct taste to it?
No, I would assume they're going to taste pretty much the same.
Okay.
Now I don't somehow. I think my video froze up.
No, you're good.
Oh, just froze up
I can.
on my end.
It's froze up on your. I see you in where you're loud and live in color, brother.
Perfect. So no, it's a very mild. If I had to say what it tastes like that a lot of people could relate to would be frog legs.
Okay. Okay. Uh, Reptilian, amphibian-ish kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
Because
very
they're
light, very flaky.
okay. Now, what do they eat? They just eat like mice and shit like that.
Yeah, any small rodents, chipmunks would probably be about their main diet. Squirrels, I think they can eat like up to a medium-sized rabbit. Their jaws will unhinge.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Their
Yeah,
jaws.
they can swallow pretty good sized animal. They'll swallow a squirrel with no problem.
Well, when the boss comes up, when Steve Faraci comes upstate to visit, I think what we're going to do, Tom, is we're going to get together with him and we're going to take him on a walk, and we're gonna find him some rattlesnakes and we're going to show him firsthand what they are. Cause Steve, boss, you seem very interested in rattlesnakes, so we're gonna make sure This is the A to Z Make a Wish here, and I'm granting your wish. The funny thing is, Tom, about the boss, he has a friendly, not so friendly rivalry going with another friend of ours, and a few episodes ago we brought them together in harmonious unity. And from then on out, these two have been like inseparable. They've been like Felix and Oscar and Siegfried and Roy, maybe more. So not only at this program do I provide you with the best entertainment on the internet, I also bring people together in glorious harmony. Can you imagine a side effect of?
I can't. It's unprecedented.
For Christ's sake, what the hell are we doing here? So anyway,
you should get the Peace Prize.
I should be a nominee at least, Tom. I should be a nominee. They should not.
Definitely.
I would be happy if I was nominated. I would be happy if I was. So Tom, what else do we got down? There's a lot of people don't realize the diversity of the wildlife up here. Mm-hmm. We have obviously the deer, because all the city guys like to come up and hunt deer. That's what makes upstate famous for city people. But there's bear up here. There's fox, weasels. I don't know. There's are there like wild tigers, anything like that up here?
Quite controversial, but there are mountain lions. I've seen 3, and
mountain lions. Wait a minute. Rewind. You have seen with your own eyes mountain lions.
Yes.
Okay. So for those of you that don't know what a mountain lion is, that's what they're referred to as up here. Down in Florida, they would be called a Florida panther. Mm-hmm. I would assume out west they're called a puma.
Yeah, or they're mountain lion, puma.
Mountain lion, puma. But we refer to them up here as mountain lions, which it is a fact that they're here because you have seen one.
Yes, 3.
3 you've seen.
Yep.
Now, what would you?
2 brown ones and a gray one.
2 brown ones and a gray one. Now, Tom, given your experience, give me an estimate on how big the animals that you saw were.
I'm gonna guess the first one that I saw was literally like it went across a dirt road so fast. I looked at my buddy and we're like, no, like we didn't just see. Both of us were like, not, everybody says they're not here. The DEC won't admit they're here. But we got out, stopped the truck and got out, and I walked up to where it crossed. And on the edge of the road, you could obviously, it was plain as a nose on my face. It was a cat track, and it was
Wow.
probably, I'm going to say, about like that, so probably 2 inches across. Um, and no toenails, so it was definitely feline. Um, and
Wow.
the tail was probably on that one. I'm going to guess roughly 30 inches to 3 feet long. Possibly a little bit longer. Thick.
Holy
Um,
Christ.
I'm going to guess that the weight on that thing would maybe be 100 pounds. They're long,
They're
so
long.
yeah, it's kind of hard to tell the weight. The second one that I saw, um, I was living in East Branch at the time,
Hmm.
and there's a dike that they built for the river, and I used to
Okay.
squirrel hunt right on the other side of that dike. So literally within 200 yards of my house, I was squirrel hunting in there, and there was a big grove of trees that I would like ease into and shoot the squirrels in the trees in. As I was coming in, I seen like it was a shoulder of an animal, and that's really kind of all I could see. And it looked weird. I knew it wasn't the color of a deer, but yet it was like a brown tannish, I would say.
Right.
Um, and I just started easing my way up to it. I couldn't see a head. I couldn't see a tail. All I could see was just this spot in the sunlight. And I was just about ready to think, oh, it's got to be, it can't be an animal because I'm not being that quiet. It was fall, the leaves were crunchy. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden it turned its head. Now I'm probably 20, 25 yards away from it.
Okay.
I had a 12 gauge with number 6 bird shot, not the kind of thing you would want for this animal. But when it turned, I mean,
That would piss him off, right?
oh yeah, it was clearly a cat. Yellow eyes. It had the whiskers, the white around the black nose. I mean, it was without a doubt a mountain lion.
Wow.
And when it turned, then I realized it was laying on a log, and that's why it looked odd. Well,
Holy shit.
when it seen me, I mean, I locked eyes with it, and I've literally been this far from a bear, a female sow up a tree with 2 cubs up the tree. And I'm reaching my hand up in the air as her paw is dangling off of the limb, and I was literally inches away from being able to touch her claws. So animals don't bother me, but I'll tell you, when I looked in the eyes of this thing, it looked at me like I owed it money and it was there to collect. I was like, oh shit! And then I realized, I got my 12 gauge. Like, oh no! But it came off of that log like it was water. I mean, it was so smooth.
it
And
just
it
graceful.
was, yeah, and it got in that dry river grass. The wind can't blow through that without it sounding like a rackus.
Hmm.
And it went through that grass, and you could not hear that. I could see the grass moving as the animal went through it, and you
But that
couldn't hear a sound from it.
he just now, Tom, you bring something up, an interesting point. Now, what I think the fear that people have are the cat itself, but I think what you're pointing out is that what people should be more afraid of is that when you're in their territory, you have no idea because
Right.
A, you can't hear them; they're that stealthy. B, just as you said, that was a great description too, by the way, of him going through that grass. That, like you said, you can hear the wind whip grass. You didn't hear a thing. He was that that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
That now, can you imagine if that animal were to get its wits about it and actually hunt you? You would have no idea if this
You
thing was.
wouldn't stand a chance.
You wouldn't stand a
Uh,
chance. You would not
and
stand
they,
a chance.
no, and they attack from behind.
Unbelievable.
Like,
Unbelievable.
yep.
Tom, the board's blowing up here. We got. I'm telling you, we're really. So Ferrazzi says, "Listen to me. I've never been upstate where you guys are. When you are down here, you can try some gator bites and pig ears, and which
That's good to
100%,
me.
100%, boss. I would do that. And Steve also, because Steve lives in Florida. Okay.
Okay.
So he said, we need to come down to the Everglades where there's gators, pythons, panthers. Interesting sidebar, Tom. Have you ever been to Florida and experienced that stuff down there?
I've been to Florida numerous times,
You have.
but I've never been lucky enough to be able to go out. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I've been to Gatorland. I've seen alligators in the St. Johns River and stuff like that, but never like I totally would be at home in the Everglades. Pythons,
Oh,
rattlesnakes, bring them. We're gonna be eating so good.
somebody's gonna be eating something.
Oh
So,
man,
so Mike Domino stopping in to say hello. Mike, what's up? Mike's a faithful,
Mike.
faithful fan of the show, and a few episodes back, Tom, this he wants me to say Jiggy. I was going off on one of my many tangents, and I believe my producer was. See, what my producer likes to do is he likes to look up these random questions and ask me these questions to punish me because he knows that I can't answer them right, but he knows my answers are going to be are whatever, and it gives people a chance to see how literally unintelligent I really am. So, but the funny part is, I think I went off on something, and I was dancing. And I said I'm getting jiggy with it, and the boss forbade me to say jiggy ever again. So that even prompted him to say, "There's a new opening Monday night. there's a new opening the 8 o'clock or the 7 o'clock slot." So with that, Tom, you are ridiculous. Boss, I love you so much, boss. He's a good guy. We have what's Mike Zant doing? Mike says Bergie and I drove through the land of the Seminole at night. Panther signs everywhere. And RD's popping in. Hey RD, what's up?
Hey.
Seminole wind. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, Tom, while I do like to get jiggy with it, and I do like to get to September. What's that? Earth, Wind, and Fire. I like doing the vanilla, and then I slide in a little vanilla ice. Word to your mother. Word to your mother. Wow, boss, that's my new one. Word to your mother. So Mike Domino likes the adrenaline rush. Well, Mike, if you want to come up here and we can take you for a rattlesnake walk up a cliff, and we'll push you over the ledge to the river, and maybe like a big cattle jump on you. I mean, I don't know any more of an adrenaline rush than that.
That would probably do it for me.
That would do it for me. But Tom, knowing you, you'd come out with a fur coat and dinner.
I might.
Now, Tom, among the other wildlife and game up here, and the things to admire, the things that to hunt and to eat, what touches you as like something? Like you see an animal. Like obviously you're very in tune with nature and you understand it very well. Like I understand the kind of guy you are because I think my brother's like that a little. I think you need to have the type. Well, I think you and Mike, I should say, have this innate ability to. Should I say it's almost like a sixth sense to sense an animal?
Mm-hmm.
And you're not like the animal doesn't exactly fear you, but it's intrigued, and you're the same. Like you can almost meet like on a level. Not like you're gonna jump into a cage with 16 fucking lions and try to give them a high five. But like you know how to approach them, and you know how to sense and understand what they are, who they are, and act accordingly. Am I right or?
For me, it's really more about the body language of the animal, and being able to like we put off an energy,
Mm-hmm.
And animals can sense that. It's probably some sort of electromagnetic energy. I'm going to guess. I mean, I'm not a scientist or biologist or whatever, but
I would believe that, Tom, because that's an organic that's an organic energy. That's the kind of energy that surrounds the Earth, magnetic and electrical. We all give off electrical pulses, and I would imagine that there's something grounded within the Earth and within humans that animals have more of a sense of.
Yeah, I think like I can. It's hard to describe, but like I can put forth that positive energy, I guess you would say. I can gain trust in a wild animal pretty easily.
Right. You almost have a calming, like
Right.
they're not immediately aggressive with you. They're like, okay, this guy doesn't mean me harm. I'm going to see what this guy is going to do.
I've been insanely close to many bear. I'm not afraid of them.
Hmm.
Um, I've chased bears, barking at them like dogs. Um,
Really?
yep, a sow with cubs actually. Um, but it's just there's something I really do because I can feel their energy. I can feel energy of people. Um,
Okay.
I can be around somebody and just by standing next to you, I can tell if you're like anxious or without even looking at you.
No kidding.
Um, yeah,
That's pretty neat,
it's
Tom.
strange. It is. It's kind of debilitating too. But
Oh, I
that's
imagine it
why
can be blessing and curse at the same time.
crowds are killers because it's a bombardment of that. But with animals, I think it's different. And bear, I think I feel probably like the deepest connection with them. I've shot
Hmm.
3 bear, um, two of which approached from behind me, and I knew that there was a bear behind me. I'd never heard either one of them. Something
Really?
like a sixth sense said, "There's a bear," and I turned around and I could see I seen the bear.
There he
Um,
is.
you know, and it's like an emotional roller coaster for me when I shoot one. I think because their spirit is so powerful. Like,
Hmm.
a lot of people, oh, that's mumbo jumbo, blah blah blah. No, it really isn't. Um, the Native Americans called it medicine, but it's that spirit energy, and
Yeah.
bears are very strong. Um,
They give
but
off
it's
a
just
very, very strong spirit and
it's
a very
powerful.
overcoming energy.
Yeah, it's very
Okay.
powerful.
Okay.
In a positive way.
In a pot, right? Not we're not talking aggressive or
Right.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. But they're probably the hardest animal. I love to hunt bear. It's probably my favorite thing to hunt, but it's one of the hardest things for me to kill. So
Well, Tom, you know we've got some really great things here. Sam Titus wants to know, Tom, do you do any trapping at all?
no,
You don't
um,
trap.
I don't. And I've many times I've thought, man, I should get into trapping, but my work schedule now this job that I have now, I've been here a year, and I should be able to make more time for that, and I do want to get into it.
You would like to trap, but you just haven't gotten.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I want to ask something. I think you would probably know this. Are furs still something that are desirable? Or do people still buy that? And is there a fur like trade still?
The market's so down on them. It's
It's
not worth
not.
it if you want to trap to make money. I think a
Okay.
fox pelt might be a prime right now. And don't quote me on it, but I want to say they're no more than $8 to $10.
Okay. So it's not even worth like it's just if you want a novelty fur to hang,
Right.
that's about it.
Yep.
Well,
It's more about like predator control. And I'm not a huge. I will shoot. Like I got 3 fox this year,
wow.
um, and I got 3 coyotes. But if another fox comes in the backyard, I won't shoot it. I don't need the fur. Um,
Do you see what the boss wrote?
don't
Oh,
give him my number.
I hope so, but tell him to call me. Tell him to call
Yeah.
me. And Steve also says that we're going to find out at the end of the show that Tom is dead and Eric is interviewing his ghost. Well, you would have anybody that could do it, boss. You know it would be me. So Luke Tucker's chiming in. He's saying, "What's up, Tom? Tom, he's excited."
What's
And
up, buddy?
Steve also says he wants to submit a request to Duolingo and add that I want to kill you animal language. Oh God, that's so great. Oh, you gotta love the boss.
Yeah.
So the boss say this is educational for me. None of this is Canarsie. Boss, I have no idea what that means. You know that I don't. There's 3 things I know. I know how to dance. I know how to make people laugh, and I know how to annoy you. So that's the only things I know. Don't start speaking in like ancient Sumerian to me, like because I don't understand it. So anyway, the boss wants me to dance. So Tom, I'm gonna ask you something about birds. Now, birds like to fly. Birds like to fly, Fly, fly high. So anyway, Canarsie is Brooklyn, where he's from. I'm sorry, boss. I should have known that because, as you know,
Yes. Yep.
as you know, as everyone knows, I am a prolific traveler to New York City, and I do spend a lot of time in Brooklyn. Not there, so to speak, but I do know that. Boss, I apologize. I should have known that. I will write 50 times. I will relearn my Brooklyn lingo. But anyway, Tom, birds. So
Mm-hmm.
I myself, I thoroughly enjoy wild bird watching. I always have. My brother and I actually share that. That's one of the things that we like to do. We like to bird watch, and my I think we get it from my parents, specifically my father, because he always had bird feeders, and he always would just sit there and admire the birds. And of course, when you're young and you're like me, and I would walk through and be like, "What the fuck is this old man just sitting at the window looking at fucking birds for?" I mean, this is
Right.
this is the most boring thing until I stopped one day. He wasn't there. I was walking by and I saw these really cool birds, and I'm like, okay, I wonder what that is. And he always had that big bird book, the bird book,
Yep.
that everybody has. And I looked it up, and they were rose-breasted grosbeaks, and they were really really cool. So I'm thinking, maybe I should learn more about birds. So when I went to college in biology, I could take labs. One of the labs was on trees, and the other one was on birds. And I'll tell you something, I learned a lot about both, and that even made me more into wanting to know about birds. And it's so amazing what happens right in front of you that you don't see. And
Mm-hmm.
I learned about all these amazing birds, like the indigo bunting. How isn't it? That's one of the most beautiful little birds.
Yep.
Listen to me. I don't believe I'm just sitting here talking about birds. What about? I'm going to give you the goat of the wild birds of upstate New York, the scarlet tanager.
Yeah.
Is that a bird? Folks, if you want to look up one of the most beautiful wild birds you ever see in your life, they only come around in the springtime when they have their vibrant plumage, and it's only the males, and they live high up in the canopy. Canopy is tops of the trees. That's where they are mostly, and they eat more fruit than they do anything else. They don't like peck at the seeds and stuff. But Tom, are they one of the most amazingly colored birds you've ever seen?
They're incredible.
They are, with a little black wing and everything.
Yep.
I have a request, Tom. People want to know, given your ability to to almost like befriend and kind of intermingle with animals. Have you ever, and I'm being serious, have you ever encountered anything of the, let's say, paranormal or unknown, mysterious in origin, say a Sasquatch or Bigfoot or something like that? Have you ever had any experience or seen anything like that?
Um, Paranormal, yes. I lived in a house for probably 5 or 6 years it started off with like little things. I actually thought I was going crazy because I would sit at the house by myself and I would hear a conversation
Oh,
going on in what I thought was like the next room. But yeah, you couldn't make out words, you could just hear voices.
you could hear garble, but you couldn't understand
Right.
what they were saying.
Yep. It was just like you could hear them, but they were too far.
Right.
But I would walk out, say if I was in the living room, I'd walk out because I thought I heard it in the kitchen,
Hmm.
and then it would stop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So at some point, I'm literally thinking it's in my head, and I'm going nuts. Well, then um, it started off with like the sound of if you took a stack of just loose leaf paper, right, and you put it on a table and you just swiped it off, and you hear that as it hits the floor, and that rustle as you shove it, you would hear
Yeah.
that.
Really?
Yeah. It was, and that was always in the kitchen. But yeah, I would think, oh well, what I do, leave the window open, blue paper off the table, or what? Go out there, nothing,
Nothing happening.
nothing happening.
Wow.
Then it got to where the dogs were really noticing it. Um, I had a Rottweiler and a Pit Bull Rottweiler mix at the time, and they were both like they were not aggressive dogs. They were probably the biggest cuddle bugs you ever seen.
That's a myth too, by the way, that all dogs of those particular breeds are aggressive. It's
Yeah,
not true.
yeah.
Anyway,
Um,
continue.
they were. My wife and I were sitting on the couch watching TV, and they were laying at our feet. And all of a sudden, from a complete dead sleep, I mean, my dog was snoring. I mean, he was out. He
Out
jumped
like a
up, and
light.
the other one, yeah, they both jumped up at the same time, backed up against us with their hair standing right up on their necks, and they were looking like up towards the ceiling. When I
Wow.
looked up there, there was I don't even know how to describe it because it wasn't solid, but it was
Mm-hmm.
like this black, for lack of a better term, fog, but it was very dense. It almost like it had matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And it hovered there, and the dogs were going ape shit. I mean, whatever this
Wow.
was, they did not like it. And I started to get up, and it literally shot into the where the ceiling and the wall come together.
Uh huh.
It shot right through that, like it just vaporized. Um, I seen a apparition in the basement. The only time in my life I've been through, I want to say 9 or 10 motor vehicle accidents,
Mm-hmm.
and I've never once one motorcycle accident. Never did I think I was going to die. I was never afraid. I've been face to face with bears. I mean, I've never really known actual fear in my life.
Okay.
Um, I was I was in the basement. It was dark in this area I was in. There was a light on behind me, and I was moving clothes from the washer to the dryer, and there was a sink in between with a window right above the sink.
Right.
And as I went to put the clothes from the washer into the dryer, I just happened to glance at that window, and in the reflection, I could see what at first glimpse I thought was a man standing behind me. But all of a sudden, I got this overwhelming feeling of fear. I was literally paralyzed and locked eyes with this thing. Um, it was I don't want to say it was a man because obviously it wasn't a man. I'm not afraid
Right.
of any man. I would turn around and confront you in my house.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I noticed right away the eyes were the only thing that I could not see through, and they were
Wow.
black. And it, I got goosebumps right now talking about it.
Holy shit.
But I was literally paralyzed with fear. I felt
Mm.
evil. Like I knew this thing wanted to do some kind of harm to me. What it could do, I have no idea. Um, and in my head, I just kept telling myself, look away, look away, look away. But I couldn't. I literally could not move. It was just like sleep paralysis, I guess, where I could not move a muscle.
Yeah.
I couldn't drop the clothes. I couldn't turn my head. Finally, I was able to avert my eyes to look down.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I did that, I felt it disappear.
Wow. Just like
Um,
that.
yep. It had
Just like that.
it was it was a man with a beard, and he had like almost like a Carhartt chore coat with the buttons
Mm-hmm.
on it, and they were unbuttoned. So the front of his jacket or coat was open,
Mm-hmm.
and it appeared to be like bib overalls
Wow.
on
So
him. But
you
like I said,
experienced vivid detail with this then. Like you were
yeah,
really like,
um,
wow, this is amazing.
yeah. At first, I probably wouldn't have been able to tell you that, but the memory of it is so vivid. Like I said, I had literally chills and goosebumps talking about it, and I've over time I've been able to like recall bits and pieces of
Oh, absolutely.
to
Yeah.
form that picture. Um, the thing that really, in the end, really deciding factor to move was um, I was getting ready to leave to go to work one morning, and my wife had gone in the bathroom to brush her teeth. She just literally walked out of the bedroom, walked into the bathroom, which was 15 feet from door to door. Um, I was standing there tying my shoes. She was in brushing her teeth. I went in, gave her a kiss, told her I was going to work, walked out. When I got to work, she called me and asked me. She's like, were you messing with me this morning? I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, no, were you messing with me this morning when you left? Did you walk out the door? I said, yeah. As like, I'm bewildered at this point. I have no idea what you're talking about. You just tell me. She's literally, I was probably getting in the truck when she went back in the bedroom to get whatever it was she had to get out of there. She says, well, you'll see. I left it on the floor in the bedroom when you get home, walk in the bedroom. When I got home that night, we had a queen size bed and like a blanket folded lengthwise across the bed,
Hmm?
like at the foot of the bed. So it
Yeah.
was like folded like 3 times down.
Okay.
Um, that blanket was folded in and in. Whoops, sorry. And placed on the floor with a candle taken off of the dresser. And I guarantee you, if you measured it from corner to the wick, that was dead center.
No shit.
And yeah, I have no idea the significance of that or what that was meant to mean or whatever or why. But after that, she's like, I'm not going to live here anymore.
So
So you need to
that was
go.
the deciding factor. We're getting the hell out of here.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
That's it. Wow, Tom,
um,
that's amazing. That's
yeah.
amazing. Now, what about going to the outdoors? What
Mhm.
about Bigfoot, Sasquatch? Have you ever experienced or seen anything that you really
Never
couldn't?
seen, never seen one. Um, I've had experiences right here at my house on the other side of the river, and I can't say it was a Sasquatch, but I can tell you what it wasn't.
Okay.
Um, there was many times I hear like trees breaking, and it's
Mm-hmm.
dead still, no wind, and it's not dead trees per se, because you can hear the fibers tearing as it's being bent.
Right.
Um,
And
and
you
I'll
know
be
what?
honest
And
with
you
you,
know what animals have what strengths and how they move. So you
yeah,
would know if it's say this is a deer walking over a low branch or this is a bear pushing his way through a tree. You would know that.
yes, these are very deliberate, um, slow breaks, and I don't know if it that's what it is. I do believe in Sasquatches; they absolutely exist. Um, there's hundreds of thousands of sightings.
Oh yeah.
There's foot casting. There's DNA.
Mm-hmm.
We have everything, but why they lie to us and say that they don't exist or they're apes because they're not. The DNA clearly states that they're human.
Mm.
Um, the So I mean, I believe they exist. Whatever the noise is that I'm hearing on the other side of the river, the one night I heard one actually being twisted. Like if you grab it, say your one hand above the other, and
Yeah,
twist
like
the trunk. Yep,
just kind of do a
yep,
tree.
yeah, yep.
What the? Whoa!
One night I
Wow.
was fishing in the river. My son lives with me, but he's in the National Guard, so he was on guard that weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and I decided I was going to go out and drift the eddy here for walleye at night. So I had made a couple drifts downstream, and then I motor back up, drift back down. Well, as I'm motoring back up, I come to this one spot. There's like almost like a mudslide, small mudslide. There's a little opening in the hemlocks,
Okay.
and I get just up, literally just past that, and this huge rock hits the water. Um, and I was like, "What the hell?" 1 second.
No. Have a drink.
Um, I was like, "What the hell was that?" I knew it wasn't a beaver because it didn't make a slapping noise. It was a kersplunk, like you know what I'm saying, like a rock being thrown, a heavy rock into deep water.
Yeah.
Um, so initially I blew it off. I'm like, yeah, I just rolled down the hill into the water because the hill is friggin' steep.
Yeah.
Um, but I didn't hear breaking branches or rolling down through the leaves, nothing. So I knew that wasn't it. But I'm trying to make myself believe that it's not somebody over there throwing gigantic rocks into the river. So whatever, I go up the river, drift back down. I'm coming back up through the same spot, the same exact thing. So I'm like, all right, well now now I really gotta wonder about this.
Mm-hmm.
So I drift back down, and as I'm coming up through the next time, I take my flashlight and I'm shining on the bank, which I had done previously, but only after I heard the rocks. There was no eye shine. There was no movement. There was nothing. There was not a sound, like no crickets, no frogs, no nothing.
Nothing.
Just
Dead silent.
deadly silent. Um, as I'm coming up through this time, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna see what's doing this or what it is if it does it again. I get past it with the flashlight shining up to the woods. Nothing happens. I shut the flashlight off. I didn't go 10 yards. Kersploosh. I'm like, okay. I said, all right, I get your point. I'm going to go. You can.
He don't want you there.
Yourself. Yep.
He doesn't want you there.
No. Whatever.
That's crazy, Tom.
Yeah. I've heard like playful splashing in the river at night.
Mm-hmm.
And I always just chalk it off to otters because I do see quite a few otters here.
You do? Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
So I chalk it off to that. The way I look at it is if it is a Sasquatch, all the more power to you. I'm going to stay on my side. You stay on your side. I've contemplated over the years like going to places where there are a lot of sightings of them, frequent sightings, and going out looking for them. But there's a part of me that says they're really not what you want to mess with. You know what I mean?
You don't really want you want to know, but you don't want to find out.
Yeah, there's a sixth sense that tells me leave them be.
Leave them be. Don't go any further into that. Well, Tom, with stories like this and the previous ones, Amanda she said, you guys are going to give me nightmares, all this talk about snakes and ghosts. And and speaking of nightmares, the boss, Eric gives me nightmares when he says jiggy and dances on air. Well, boss, don't be jealous that I've got sick moves and you got nothing. So that's where that lies there. And so your buddy Mike says that his brother-in-law, or let me rephrase. Mike Zant says, my brother-in-law and I smelled something in the woods up in Lordville. I think it was a squatch. Well, it very well could have been Mike. And Bergman, who's joining the show, Eric Bergman, you know Eric, he says they got the skunk ape that's in Florida. So perhaps the skunk ape, the Sasquatch, the Bigfoot, the Mike Zant, I mean, these all could be interrelated, These could be all one and the same. Yeah. I'm just going by the smell when I put Mike in there.
Yeah. He does have a funny odor.
He does have a rather distinct odoriferous emanation, doesn't he?
Yes.
Luke Tucker says, I would think they would be captured on trail cameras. Luke, very good point and very good question. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Tom, you may be able to verify this more than I have actually seen different video footage. I haven't watched them all, but I've seen a few of them. I've seen trail cam pictures of what could or may be a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot. Obviously looked at by scientists and stuff that understand like animals and stuff, and like I want to say like primate scientists, and not necessarily saying they're apes because we're primates, and that understand the bipedal animals. Because humans, apes, everything, they're all kind of related. Like Luke Tucker and like this gorilla at the Orlando Zoo, I'm pretty sure are like second cousins, maybe first.
He's definitely brother to the orangutan.
The orangutan, 100%, because I think Luke's back might be a little hairier though. I don't know. I gotta say that. Yeah. Anyway, Tom. Oh yeah, Luke's classic D head. Tom, this has been great. These stories that you have and these experiences that you do. But Tom, I have to tell you that it would not be complete and it would not be the A to Z program if you did not participate in one of our fun and exciting games. And Tom, right now, you and I are going to bring out the famous or infamous That's right. Here it is, guys. It's back. The douchebag.
Oh, not the douchebag.
Yep, we got the douchebag, Tom, and I'm telling you, I got a list of names in here. I just have my staff. I have my staff randomly choose names. Sometimes pertaining to the guest. Sometimes I just tell them to write stuff down and throw it in the bag. Surprise me and surprise you. So, Tom, we're gonna play the douchebag. Now, this is how the douchebag works. I'm gonna hold up a name. It's on one of these very brilliantly colored pieces of paper. Okay. Now, the game is simple. If they're cool, they're cool. We leave them out of the bag. But if they're a douche, boom, they get douchebagged. So I will angle this so we can see the bag is here. And Tom, what do you say? Do you want to play?
Oh yeah.
Of course you want to play. Of course you want to play. Now, let's see what the first name out of oh boy. Tom, Bill Clinton.
Oh, you bag it.
You want to bag him? Is Bill a douche? Bill's
he's
a douche? Bill's a douche. Well,
he's a huge douche.
He's a huge. I actually don't mind Bill Clinton as much, but he has done some very, very douchey things. So,
yes.
Guess what, Bill? You're going into douchebag. Oh, here's one. Here's a popular yet controversial figure. Albeit a very intelligent man who understands the veracity of the pandemic and how and why it affects us. Whether you choose to believe that or not, this man is legitimate, but like I said, he is controversial. That would be Dr. Fauci.
Oh yeah, now see him and I, we don't get along.
You don't get along with Dr. Fauci.
No.
You and he are kind of you're on Fifth Avenue and he's over on 2nd Street somewhere. Like you're not.
He's under the bridge.
He's under the bridge. He's under the bridge. You and you guys, you're not going to camp together. There's
no.
You're not going to play Uno. Nothing like that. So
no.
are we
try cannibalism with him.
You would want to chop up Dr. Fauci? Oh my God!
Just the leg, like the lower part of his leg. He can live without that.
Just cut his leg off. Maybe he's a lizard. He can grow it back. But we're gonna. So you're gonna put Fauci in the bag?
Oh yeah, he's got to go in the bag.
Fauci's got to go in the bag. Okay, that's Tom. This is your thing. This is you. Whatever you say, this is how it goes. Ooh. Speaking of royalty, how about Her Majesty the Queen?
Oh well, if I went against the Queen, they'd probably behead me. So
you want to keep her? You want to keep her out? Let's keep her out. In the sense of
won't live long through the program anyway.
No, I mean it's amazing. I mean what is she like 312? I think that's how. Yeah,
she's older than Betty White.
She is older than Betty White. I think she's only got Betty White by like 3 years, but I mean you're talking about a woman who probably went to school with Abe Lincoln and wrong country. I know. Well, everybody's going, oh, she's from Britain and Abe Lincoln was the president. I know.
She was well traveled.
She was well traveled. I heard she could fly.
She probably can, depending on what broomstick she has for the day.
That's true. She's and of course the boss taking a jab. She's slightly younger than Eric, so yeah, that's one of the running gags that I'm like an immortal vampire, but I think it's just more a stab that they think I'm just some rickety old man. RD says Fauci fingers. That's cool. Oh, and I thought Mike or Eric Bergman would have done this one, but RD got it first. God save the Queen.
Yes.
God save the Queen. God bless her. How about, Eric, let's switch gears. Let's go from across the pond to right back here in the U.S., and let's go to a woman who had a very popular talk show. How about Ellen DeGeneres? What do you think of her?
Oh, I can't stand her.
You can't stand her?
No.
Do we keep her out, or is she getting douched?
No, let's douche her.
Let's douche her? Ellen's going into douchebag. Yeah. And, Ellen's done some pretty douchey shit, so...
Yeah.
I'm not...
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not in unagreeance with your particular dissemination of said particle accelerated vamped interstellar aptitude. I just threw 10 big words together, and I'm hoping
I love it.
That's great. Hey man, how about O.J. Simpson?
Oh, we got to keep OJ.
You got to keep O.J.?
Oh yeah.
We don't want him in there. We want him out. We'll keep OJ. He can keep the Queen company. Maybe he can run an errand for her.
Yeah, maybe he can get her a new pair of gloves.
Yeah, maybe he's. I heard he's got a nice set of knives.
Yeah.
So Eric Bergman says that the Queen is 94 years old, and Betty White, I believe, is 99. So Betty White's actually older than the Queen. Wow, who knew? Eric Bergman knew. And Mike says, I believe he's referring to Ellen. I think Mike's saying she bugs me. Well, I can agree with that, Mike. She bugs a lot of people. This guy bugs a lot of people too, for no other reason probably than his exploitation of the Christian religion and making money off it, hence profit. Joel Osteen.
Yeah, bag him.
Bag him. This guy fucking sucks. Fuck him.
Yeah, he's a scumbag.
He is
Clinton out before I put him back in there.
I love it, Tom. I love it. And Mike, your buddy Mike, if the glove does not fit, you must acquit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here we go, Tom. Let's go back to our youth when we were sitting. Just picture yourself. You're in your car with your folks, and you're going to the store, and Mom turns the AM radio on, or Dad, or your Aunt Ethel or whoever just when you and I were young, everybody tuned the AM radio on, and you heard all the classics, or what would be. Now, I guarantee you that this man has had one or more numerous songs that were penetrated into our brain in our youth and are ingrained, and depending on how you feel, this guy's either very popular or people absolutely hate him. But what are we doing with John Lennon?
Oh, I really do not like the Beatles.
I'm not in disagreement with that.
And I think they were overrated.
Okay.
And I think John should be a douchebag.
You want a douche, John? I got no problem with that. Yeah, I think we should. What do you think? Yeah, John, here you go. We're bagged. John, you suck. Here we go. Here we go. Speaking of Johns, here's probably a rather popular Johnny for this day and age. Johnny Depp.
Oh, keep him out.
Keep him out. Yeah. Keep him. He's Captain Jack Sparrow. You have to keep him out.
Gotta keep him out.
We gotta keep him out. We've got to keep him out. So, Mike thinks that Joel sucks. And RD also says, "God end the Olstein." So that's that's pretty good. Yeah. Tom's an old. Oh, Tom, you're a deadhead?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know you were a dead. So that's just that much more that you and my brother have in common. Wow. Yeah. How about that? Yeah. Now, speaking of having in common, how do you feel about are you a fan of like 80s movies and like the real nostalgia of stuff like like Ghostbusters and like the Blues Brothers or Back to the Future, like those movies that you always remember? This next guy is a particularly popular person in pop culture for no other reason than his name. But what are we doing with Mr. Scientology himself, Tom Cruise? That's a tough one.
I just got the Top Gun DVD.
You did?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well,
he did pretty good in that jet, but he is an asshole.
He is an asshole. I agree with that. So, do we want to save him because he was Maverick, or do we want to douche him because he's kind of a dickhead?
I say we douche him.
I think so. I don't think that's going to
died and not Goose.
True. There we go. Sorry, Tom. You're in the bag.
Well done.
All right, so Tom, you and I we're relatively in the same age range, and we listen to. I know you listen to some of the same music that I have. In fact, I know you have. We've talked about it. This guy is a important cultural figure from our generation. This is Lars Ulrich, the drummer for Metallica.
Oh yeah, he stays.
He stays out.
Yeah.
Lars is not in the.
No, he can be a little bitch though, but he can play drums like nobody's business.
That's true. So we're gonna keep
awesome.
no douche for Lars. No douche for Lars. Hey, how about speaking of the '85 Bears? How about Mike Ditka?
I'm not a big football fan, but I can't say much about it. Keep him out.
Keep him out. Keep Ditka out.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's the consensus. Ditka's great.
yeah.
Ditka's. We got to keep
He
him
had a
out.
hunting show, didn't he?
I think he did. I do
think
believe that he did.
So, and
So
that
Mike's.
instance alone will keep him out.
You and Mike are kindred spirits.
Oh,
So his best movie was, I guess, Top Gun. I guess that's what the guys were talking. Oh, Crybaby. Is that what we're talking about? Was Tom Cruise in a movie called Crybaby? I don't know. I don't know much about that. That might be a stretch, but I did. Eric Bergman is calling it the Douche Cruise, and of course, I think they're talking about Crybaby. Mike liked it. Of course, Mike liked it. Mike likes everything. But anyway, so here we go. This might be the literal flick to the flame, not just for you or for me, but for everybody, because this man, you either love him or hate him, and nowadays, especially in the past few weeks, he's not a very popular guy, and he's not very popular with particularly us New Yorkers. This is our wonderful Governor Andrew Cuomo. Now, Tom, I'm not even going to guess. I'm just going to say that you are going to say to what?
douche him.
Douche him. Did you see that he's got another harassment accusation?
Yep.
Unbelievable, these fucking guys.
And nothing will happen to him.
Probably not. They'll ask him to resign, and then he'll write a book, and then he'll be an analyst on CNN, and then, like, in 3 years, he'll have an Instagram with all his different nipple rings, and it's like, it's just,
I hope that.
he's fucked up. Hey, speaking of blast from the past, what about the big guy, Andre the Giant?
Oh yeah, man, he was awesome. We can't put him.
We can't put him in there. Now listen,
man.
I got a funny Andre quip. A lot of people, I mean, Andre the Giant, probably among the top 3 or 4 biggest names in wrestling. I mean, everybody knows who Andre the Giant is. Now, there has been debate over the last probably 15 years on Andre's actual real height. Now, some say it's 7'5", some say he was only 6'10", some say he was right around 7 feet tall. I actually uncovered an old video of him when he was younger. Now, you got to remember, as he grew and his back, his bones couldn't support the weight he was doing, he actually shrunk. Mm-hmm. So I actually, through my own deductive research, does that even make sense?
Absolutely.
Through my own research, I found out that at Andre's peak height, he was doing an interview, I think in England, and he was getting into a car. He said he was 7'3" 3/4" bare feet. Okay? Now, he said that's how tall he was when he was last measured, which when he was 18. Now, he was obviously in his 20s by this time. Now, he had that pituitary gland condition that caused him to continually grow. Now, he very well could have been 7'5", but he did shrink throughout the course of the years. But that didn't make him any fucking smaller. He was a giant. And Johnny, okay, we got to go back a little bit here, Tom. Mike says Luke talked to Mike Ditka in my kitchen. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And Bourbon wants to put a folk hat and learn something about. Let's all put the folk hat on and learn something about foreign culture. I don't know. Let's not say we did.
Yeah, that sounds like a better idea.
and Mike said Andre shook his arm. That's kind of cool.
Oh yeah,
that's really cool. Sam believes me. He says that was very true. Andre was a big giant guy. I'm going to do a terrible impression for you to see if you can guess who the next person in the bag is. Without further ado, Tom, do you think that William Shatner should go in a douchebag?
Yep.
Yeah, fuck him, right? That was an awful impersonation.
That was funny as hell.
But this next one, Tom, I guarantee you I know which way you're going to sway, but I'm going to treat you to something wonderful after I show you this. Where do we put this man?
Bill Cosby. Oh man,
this is tough, right? Because he was an icon for us growing up. This guy, he was the funniest guy. He was the father that we all looked at like, wow, he is like the he is the American dad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, he is heartwarming, he's understanding, he's stern. He is the ultimate dad. And he was funny as hell, and he had to fucking roofie like 5,000 women. and you know what I mean? It's like, God
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah,
Bill,
like why, man? Why'd you have
why?
to do that stuff?
Jesus, he had so much pudding and Jello.
Yeah.
Why did he need to do that? If he needed to cool off, just go eat some Jello, for Christ's sake. Oh my God, he made Fat Albert, dude. That's one of the greatest cartoons ever.
Oh yes.
You know, in light of his crimes against humanity, what do you think, Tom? What do you think we do?
We got a douchebag.
We got to douche him. He's got to
We
go.
got no choice.
I'm really sorry, Bill, but we gotta put you in the douchebag because the Jello pudding pop. I don't know. That's fucking terrible. I'm sorry. I apologize for that, but I hope Steve Faraci was listening to that.
Right?
This guy's kind of a dick. I don't personally like him. Like I said, I leave this up to you. I personally don't like him because he screwed over my favorite late night talk show host. Well, two of them. He screwed over Conan and David Letterman. But Jay Leno, how do you feel about Jay? He's got some. You what now?
All fucked up.
Yeah, he's got a giant chin.
Yeah.
Like if he's standing in Delaware County, his chin's down in Susquehanna County, correct?
Without a doubt, he's a douche.
He does have cool cars.
Yeah.
He does have cool
Jay
cars.
Leno's cars on there. Well, now we would keep Jay Leno's cars. But.
We'd keep Jay Leno's cars. So Jay Leno, I don't know, I'm just the kind of guy. I just like driving cars. You know, that's bad Jay Leno. I hope Steve sees all these impressions tonight. I really do. I mean, this is going to be great. Boss, if you're watching, I saved this one for you. And there's a running gag we have here on the program, Tom. We have a guy that we always put on here whenever we have the douchebag. His name is James Bunker. Do you know Bunker? You probably don't know Bunk.
No.
He's from Deposit. He's a friend of ours. He's a Met fan. He's Steve Faraci's BFF. Like I said, they have that love-hate rivalry. I just put it up here because I'm seeing all of them shake my head. Well, boss, tell me where Bunker belongs, sir. Tell me where. Tom and I are relinquishing this particular one to you. Where do we put James Bunker as it relates to this game today? And we're patiently waiting. He will be. I'm hoping he's writing. I guarantee you, he's trying to type so fast that like his fingers are like on fire. It's going to be probably one word. Bunk equals. There you go, Tom. There you go. Check it out. Not only did he say bunk equals douche, he said slam dunk him.
Well, he's a douche then.
He's a douche then. And Tom. Okay. So you know this probably. I only know this because my brother and I encountered Secret Service down by the river one day, and we actually saw him floating down the river with Luke Tucker, as a matter of fact. Mike says, well, Bunker's cool. We're not saying Bunker's not cool. We're just saying Bunker's a douche. Anyway, he's a cool douche. You could be a cool dick, right? Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But back to the what I was saying. My brother and I were out on the porch one day. We saw all these, so we're sitting on the porch down on River Street. You know how tranquil and fun that is. Mm-hmm. You're staring at the river. It's a nice day. You're just hanging out with your buddies, man. You're bullshitting, hanging out. And then all of a sudden, first you see this guy jogging who, just, you could see who he was and what he was doing. It's like, why is this guy jogging? Who is he? We've never seen him before because we know everybody. Then you see this man and woman, pushing a carriage with no baby in it. And it's like, okay, what the hell is going on here? Then all of a sudden you see these guys fishing over here, fishing over here, fishing over here. Then all of a sudden these black vehicles with Massachusetts plates are parked random spots. And the reasoning for that, Tom, was because this man was in the Delaware River fishing. Now, how do we feel about Donald Trump Jr.?
I think he's awesome.
You think he's awesome? You're a Trump fan?
Yeah.
You like Trump? Then we will.
I'm not a huge fan of Trump.
Not a huge fan, but
I like Junior.
You like Junior. So, as per you, we are going to take him and place him out of the bag. Yeah. Cool. Switching gears a little bit, douche. Sam's not a big fan of the Trump. Sam says douche. I love it. Speaking of douches, this guy might be the universal douchebag. This is Kim Jong-un, Supreme Leader of North Korea.
Yeah, he's just done too much fucked ups. And that hair, like, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna be a Supreme Leader and you're gonna fucking walk outside looking like that? No,
Right? Yeah.
no,
He's
no.
fucking scumbag.
He is. Yeah. No, it's on back to the front, back to here. Another controversial, not controversial. Well, he was only because of the precedent he set when he actually was elected, because he was obviously the first African American president, which is fantastic, and he actually did a lot of good. Some people say concerning his policies and domestic and foreign, he didn't do a lot. I didn't pay a lot of attention to that, but Barack Obama is certainly a popular figure in pop culture and in U.S. history. He's actually an interesting man, and I actually think he's a good man. Don't agree with a lot of the things that he did. Don't agree with a lot of his policies. But Tom, I leave it up to you. Barack Obama. How do you feel?
You don't want to know how I feel about that.
I don't want to know how you feel. Do you want me to just place him in the bag and just leave it at that? Okay, yeah. We will leave it at that. Don't poor Steve. Poor Steve. He says, "Tom, don't do it, Tom. Don't." And Artie's helping you out. Breathe, Tom. Breathe.
Yeah.
Come back to life. Oh, that's so great. That's so great. Anyway, yeah. How about we bring a little fun back? Let's get back into sports. This guy, my favorite basketball player. Well, it might be my favorite basketball player, but any way you look at it, this guy is an icon. Larry Legend, Larry Bird. What do you think? Yeah. Do we douche him? No.
We gotta keep him.
We gotta keep Larry. Larry, did you ever see that? The All-Star game when they were doing the skills competition, and Larry's last shot, all he did, he shot it, he turned around, and he stuck his finger up in the air, and the basket sunk as he was walking away. Now, you are the GOAT if you do something like that. 100%. 100%.
I've never watched much sports, but I can remember him as a kid. You
remember Larry? Oh yeah, Larry was awesome. Speaking of someone who everyone deems awesome, a lot of people love this guy, but a lot of people hate him. I'm indifferent because I don't have one opinion strongly one way or the other, and that's Eminem. How do you feel about Eminem?
Well, I don't listen to a whole lot of rap. I do, but like old school Wu-Tang and shit like that.
Okay, so
but I will say that Eminem, he defines rap.
So he's talented, right? Like supremely.
Yeah,
supremely. So we're keeping him out.
Yeah, we got to keep him.
We're keeping him out. Our buddy Mike says that he thinks Larry looks like a bird too. If you think about it, actually, you're right, Mike. He kind of does look. He's Osprey-ish, isn't he? Osprey. How many people say that word every day? Well, last but not least, another one who you either love or hate, and I mean, he means quite a bit to a lot of people, and his music has touched quite a few people, is Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen, the boss. Yeah. Oh, go with it. Go with it, Tom, because I'm not far behind you.
Yeah. Dunk that fucker.
Yeah, he's done, right?
Yeah.
He's in the bag. He's done. He's in the douchebag. So Tom, out of all the people, Eminem, Larry, Trump Jr., Andre the Giant, Mike Ditka, Lars Ulrich, Johnny Depp, Captain Jack, OJ, and the Queen all stayed out of the bag.
Nice.
And Eric Bergman must have done some quick internet research, and he said that 7 people say Osprey every day. Oh, wow. Cool. Am I among the 7 or am I the 8th, Mr. Bergman? I'm unsure of that. So Tom, Tom, this has been a great show. You have
Oh,
this.
yeah.
This has been an incredible time. I want to thank you for coming on. For
Yeah,
coming
thanks
on.
for having me.
You have a good time or what?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Can I assume that you would be open to coming back at another time?
Oh, hell yeah.
Awesome. What I'm thinking about doing, Tom, is getting a conglomeration of upstate iconic figures such as yourself and my brother and Bergman and all them. And what I want to do is set up this big, nice Mike's Man Cave kind of setting and have us all on for one big show. I think that would be fantastic, don't you?
That would be awesome. Hell yeah.
And when we do it, Tom, and we do it out there, you need to bring up some of your delicacies that you have
Oh, yeah.
that you have gotten, and actually you should probably cook them on air while we do it. Would that be cool? That would be
Yeah.
fun. That would
Yeah,
be a
we
lot
could
of
totally
fun.
do that.
That would be a lot of fun. So Bergman says I was the fourth person today to say Osprey. Mike just said it. Mike just said it himself. Sam wants to thank you. Mike wants to thank you, and I can speak on behalf of my audience. I want to thank you, Tom. Again, thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing
Thanks for having me.
your stories and your knowledge. There were some really 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 awesome stories, and thank you for sharing your knowledge of nature and all things that encompass it. Because myself, as with probably a lot of people that not just watch the show, but in general, there's so much that we don't know about the world just around us, the world that's close to us, and you kind of brought us closer to that, Tom, and I really appreciate that. I really do.
Anytime.
I really do.
Thanks for
I
having
really
me.
do. Yes, and so we're out of time. So I'd like to say goodnight to everybody. Tom,
Yeah, take
do
care.
you have
everybody.
any? Do you have any last words to say, Tom? Any last parting words? Go ahead. The floor is
Um,
yours.
If anybody's interested and you want to learn more about the Sasquatch topic, Scott Carpenter has a great YouTube channel, explains
Okay.
the DNA studies, many photos, Dogman photos, if you're into that.
Cool.
And there's another channel that I watch a lot is, I believe it's howtohunt.com. Steve
Okay.
Ishdahl is the guy that runs that platform. And he reads a lot of like emails. People email him. It's like a safe platform for people to tell their experiences
Okay.
without
Cool.
being ridiculed and stuff like that. So
And that's howtohunt.com?
howtohunt.com.
Okay.
Or,
Cool.
Tell my story at howtohunt.com. But he has an awesome YouTube channel. But yeah.
Cool. Well, Tom, on behalf of everyone, I'd like to thank you for coming on the A to Z program.
Thanks for having me.
As always, the A to Z program is executive producer is Steve Ferracci. The A to Z program is normally produced by David Waukee and Eric Zant. The A to Z program is written, directed, produced, and brought to you by Eric Zant via Pop Culture Pros. And speaking of Pop Culture Pros, popculturepros.com on the web, Pop Culture Pros on YouTube. We also have Instagram. We're on the Facebook. We are on the YouTube. Important, everyone. Please go to our YouTube and subscribe. Watch our videos. Like them. Click that little button that says that gives you the notification. We encourage you because we have so much more stuff on YouTube. We drop little videos sometimes. We drop teasers. The boss sometimes has contests and giveaways that he talks about. So please, I implore you, come to our YouTube page, like it, subscribe to it, and I guarantee you we're going to be bringing you more and more and more content as the days go on. The Facebook shows my age. Yes, it does. And, believe it or not, this time, boss, I did it on purpose, My God. You talk about a guy that I'm in the middle of a coffee-driven soliloquy on giving a bump to our product, and this guy down here, just decides to shit in my cereal. Well, that's okay because I still eat it. I'm gonna risk it. So anyway, Pop Culture Pros on all platforms where you get content, on all media. Like us, subscribe to us, watch us. Other shows, you have the Just Too Sweet show that is on Tuesday night. Might be followed by Granny's Peach Tea, which is a comic book sci-fi show hosted by Ed. The Just Too Sweet show happens to feature another guy that is very popular on Pop Culture Pros, which happens to be me and my tag team partner Tim Tabala. Speaking of Tim Tabala also appears on the We Stomped You Out show during football season. Steve, Tim, and the guys all get together and talk everything Giants. So if you're a Giants fan, check that out. And of course, the flagship show, which I almost regurgitated in saying that. The flagship show for the Pop Culture Pros is the one and only Put It in the Book show, hosted by none other than the boss, my boss, somebody's boss, Hugo Boss, Mr. Steve Faraci, and he just corrected me. Granny's Peach Tea is on Wednesday now after Put It in a Book, so we moved to a new night. That's cool. Speaking of Granny's Peach Tea and Ed Camus and Tim Tabala, they will also be having or reintroducing a new season of Now You Know How I Feel. Steve, with me going on, Steve is like, now you know how I feel when you dance. Well, I bring happiness to the world, Steve. What can I say? But Ed and Tim will bring you the Empire 161 show, which gives you all things Yankees. Tune into that because as spring training approaches, I think some of these baseball shows are going to be starting to come back and give you the inside, in-depth look at your favorite team. And if it happens to be the Yankees, it happens to be the Mets, we have you covered. Also, Four Quarters show with Aline and David, and one of my might be my favorite show on Pop Culture Pros, the Jader and Kyle show. Tom, if you've never seen this yet and you haven't gone through all our shows, Jader is fucking hilarious, and you got to check out the Jader and Kyle show sometime. Kyle's great. Kyle's very knowledgeable. He's more of the straight man, but Jader, you got to this guy. He's awesome. Four Quarters is on Tuesday. We put it in the books, and Granny is on Wednesday. No idea when Jader and Kyle go on. They go on at random times in the universe. So, on behalf, I'm going to shut up because I probably talk too much, and before I get that urge to dance and the boss throws up that old whiskey that he's drinking, rock gut. Anyway, old crow. Well, he is an old crow. Anyway, Tom White, thank you again. Everyone who commented, thank you. Everybody who watched, thank you. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. Please join us every Monday night right here on Pop Culture Pros for the A to Z program. My name is Eric Zant, and I'll see you next time if I don't see you before that.